Let me know if you can hear me. I'm operating a little differently tonight. All right, y'all can hear me. I'm feeling it. Yeah. So listen, you guys. Well, let me do my little. Let me do my thing. Let me do my thing. I'm happy to be here, man. It's been a long day, actually a long couple days, but you know, life is as life does. Let's go.
God is dawn. Like and subscribe. Comment some night. Love in this light. Here's God is dawn. God is dawn. God is dawn.
Peace, world, peace. Welcome or welcome back. Yeah. So happy and blessed to be here. I mean, and just for life itself, you know. I am God is Dawn the Warrior. Live from fucking Alaska, baby. I'm in fucking Alaska. Can you believe that shit? All the way from LA to Alaska in a day, okay? But I'm here, and I'm tired. I'm running on fumes, y'all. I barely have eaten, slept. I just honestly just took a shower because I wanted to do that. But, well, actually a bath. It turned out to be a bath. But, yeah. Yes, child. Yes, I am in Alaska, you know, on some business stuff, but, you know. I'm so glad to see y'all. Let's see who's here tonight. Look, I don't have my queens with me. I don't know what happened to them. They was with me all the way. I was on the plane getting updates off the plane, and then all of a sudden it went quiet. I don't know what time it is. It's 10:35 here, which is actually earlier than where I would normally be in LA. I don't come live this late, not anymore. Anyway, all that being said, what's going on? I know there's stuff going on. The jury's asking for some. They wanted to see Jane's letters. I hear I need to look at Pacer. I'll do that while y'all are on here. Let me see. I know there's some people live right now. I really need to catch up. That's just the real honest truth. I wanted to just come here, vibe with y'all, see where we're at. I most definitely will come tomorrow. It's going to be earlier, though, because I'm busy tomorrow night. But I'm going to come tomorrow once I've caught up on everything and really get into some things. 1:36 a.m., Hazel. Okay. Sharita, thanks for Sharita gave me a couple updates. She gave me a news clip, and I found another one too. So let's just, give me what y'all know, and then I'm gonna play a couple of these news clips, and we'll talk about what's going on. Yeah. And sorry, y'all, it's just me tonight. The queens are out in the world doing queen things, like I said. So, but let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. It's not. Yeah, I'm gonna try to enjoy it. It's fun. It's exciting actually, but I haven't really traveled much since this whole pandemic situation, and it is. Traveling for me is already a mess. I hate the air, especially LAX. I can't stand it. It is a mess, but everything went smoothly. I'm very thankful, very blessed. And yeah, so let's see what y'all talking about here. I'm doing really well, Esau. Thank you for asking. Yulita, what's going on? Okay, Hazel E. Let's see. Last time I checked, the jury was in deliberation, and they said they should have a verdict by Monday or Tuesday. I'm here for it all the way. Thank you, Hazel. Rod Barnes, welcome. Rod Barnes said, I'm here for it, and I'm with Rod Barnes on that. This is a short trip. I'll be back on Monday. By the time it's time to go live on Monday, I'll be back. And hopefully we will have a verdict on Monday. Okay, Sharita saying, sounds like jury questioning the intern who she said was locked in room for days and drugged. Oh, okay. That was a big deal. So I could see why they would have questions, but let me get into. I'm gonna play the news clips and then I'm gonna pull up Pacer and see what's in there. I'm assuming this stuff something was filed by the government, okay, or by the jury. Oh, the jury requested this, so the jury asked the judge or the foreman of the jury foreman asked for these things. Okay, I'm just curious where y'all getting this information. Is it coming from? I'm assuming other YouTubers. I'm so out of the loop. I hate being out of the loop. What's going on? We are what's going on, warriors. We are what's going on because we have been, in this thing together for the most part. Some of y'all, just found me, but we all, typically people over here and in the chat are not supporting R. Kelly. So I'm just going to assume everybody listening is not supporting R. Kelly. And we, are looking forward to this accountability. BNC. I have two clips. One of them is a 10-minute, like something from BMC. I think Jim DeRegardis is on there too. Then there's this other one that is only 3 minutes and something. So I'm going to play that one first, the short one. And then we'll walk through the other one together. I think that's how I'm going to do this. Thank you, Pendleton. Sis is here. Yeah, BNC be on it. I heard somebody complaining that they were owned by, I think, Arabs or some type of other Middle Eastern descent person, company or something. But, as long as they bring in the info. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me play the first clip. And my thumping is happening because I don't have my mouse with me. So the thumping, I apologize for the thumping. I know people get bothered by the thumping. Okay, so let's see. I think this is the short one. Yeah. Make sure you can see it. Okay.
Women officially began their deliberations just before 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we know they are very much busy at work because a short time ago, They had a few questions and they requested some exhibits here. Now, just to name a few of the things they requested, they wanted to see a floor plan for Laramie Street. Laramie Street is where an old recording studio by the name of Chicago Tracks once stood. It is where R. Kelly recorded many of his hit songs. It's also where it is alleged he hosted several of his underage girlfriends at that location. Now, one of the women who was not underage, who did visit R. Kelly at that address, was a woman who went by the name of Sonia. She had flew from Salt Lake City, Utah to Chicago to do a radio interview with R. Kelly, but she testified she ended up being locked in a room for several days without food and water. However, the defense made the point during closing arguments that while Sonia was inside of a room, she also had a cell phone and that she made several calls to family members and friends, but she never made a call to the police to say that she had been locked inside of a room. Well, the jurors have now requested a full transcript of Sonia's testimony along with that floor plan for Laramie Street. Another request they had was for the testimony of a underage accuser who went by the name of Jane. Jane was a 17-year-old girl who left her home in Orlando, Florida to be with R. Kelly in Chicago with her parents' permission. She was an aspiring singer and dancer, but prosecutors say instead R. Kelly groomed Jane to become one of his underage girlfriends, and they carried a sexual relationship on for quite some time. Now, they also want to see a letter that Jane wrote to her brother, and in that letter, supposedly Jane wrote several things that her parents had been lying to her, that her parents were actually prostituting her to R. Kelly for money. But Jane testified she did not want to write that letter on her own, but rather R. Kelly made her write that letter as a form of protection. And instead, she says the letter never made it to her brother. Instead, it went to R. Kelly's attorney's office. So again, it would seem as if the jurors are taking their responsibilities very serious by asking a lot of questions, and they still, it seems like they have a long way to go before they can reach a consensus.
Yeah, Dre, let alone that when the jurors start asking questions like this, it always causes some consternation for the defense and the prosecution. Have you heard any indication from them at all about how they're viewing the jurors' questions?
No, they've pretty much been quiet since the deliberations started earlier today. We've only seen R. Kelly's defense team, or at least two of the members of his defense team, leaving the courthouse and going to lunch. But for the most part, they have remained out of view of the cameras and reporters who are following the story, and all of us are now on verdict watch. But they're keeping a pretty low profile. But again, it is an indication when you have jurors asking questions and requesting exhibits. It's showing they are clearly having discussions about the obligation they have to live up to, and that is ultimately determining if R. Kelly is guilty or innocent, or perhaps they won't be able to reach a consensus and it becomes a hung jury.
Reporting from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, Dre. You can stay with BNC when R. Kelly's verdict is in. We will have live, complete
I think that's it.
coverage of the R. Kelly verdict. You can.
Okay, so Lucky Penny, what you doing up? I know you usually turn in early. Isn't it late where you are, early in the morning? Well, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, we're just kind of getting into what happened, what's going on since deliberations have gone underway, and based on this video. So this is my first time watching that video, so I was taking notes. So okay, so the jury having questions says a lot. It says they're really actually digging deep. They're taking this very seriously, as they should, and they're picking things apart. They're really looking at things. So by them asking to see exhibits, specifically, they said the floor plan for Larceny Street, which was where the radio station intern, Sonia, met him for what was supposed to be an interview, but ended up being a rape or kidnapping also. And probably drugging, I'm thinking. But she was there for 2 days, never, it says that she had her phone. She called friends and family, or called some people that she knew but never called the police. But they asked for the full transcript of her testimony. So that's interesting. I'm so curious about the discussions that are going on, wondering, like, is there anybody who possibly is questioning this? Is there, or they just really want just clarification to put the pieces together? We just really don't know. Let me see what else is here. So, and it also looks like they're looking at Jane. She originally came in here being called Zell, then Jane number 5, but we all know who she is. And, they described her as the victim witness who was from Orlando, Florida, aspiring singer, underage, when she met him and was said to be groomed by him. And then, of course, the statutory rape. They said they were looking for a letter written to her brother, where she blamed the parents for a lot of things in that letter. But the letter, as many other letters were from many other witnesses, was coerced by R. Kelly. The brother never got the letter. R. Kelly's attorney, though, got the letter. And I'm wondering, was that Linda Minch, who, R.I.P. Linda Minch, was killed literally like a week into the trial, right? Or 2 weeks, or it was very early in the trial. Ran over by a big van, dragged, and the guy, whoever did it, got out and checked to make sure she was dead. That sounds like murder to me. Nevertheless, a whole other story. So what else did he say? On the defense side, he said that it's really quiet, right? So yeah, because everyone's on pins and needles. They're probably sticking close just in case, their questions, like they said, or by, some miracle, they come back so soon with a verdict. They said that, who was that? Was it the Durst guy that got found guilty recently? And it only took them 7 hours, even though it was a 6-week trial. It took them like 7 hours to deliberate and come back with a guilty verdict. So we don't know. We just don't know. Let me see. Okay, let me play this other clip, and then I'm going to talk throughout this because this is a longer clip. So we'll just walk through it. I hope you guys aren't worrying. Should be, staying positive and, just remembering everything we've heard and seen,
Good evening, I'm Victoria, and this is Making the Case. R. Kelly's racketeering and sex trafficking trial is finally in the hands of the jury. After weeks of testimony, deliberations got underway this afternoon. We've got a lot to discuss now that we're officially on verdict watch, and we have our experts here to give us a breakdown of the charges, the deliberation process, and the emotional weight of the trial, the accusers, and the jury. And over more than 4.5 weeks of testimony, prosecutors have tried to paint Kelly as a violent predator who spent years physically, emotionally, and sexually abusing women, girls, and boys. His lawyers have tried to portray the accusers as obsessed fans, liars, and opportunists. Here's what happened today. Prosecutors wrapped the rebuttal to the defense's closing arguments. That was followed by several hours of jury instructions from the judge. Deliberations officially got underway at 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time and stopped for the day around 5:30 p.m. The jury has now been sequestered, with deliberations resuming on Monday. All right, let's get the discussion going with my panel of experts. Music critic and contributor for The New Yorker, Jim Deliberations, who's covered R. Kelly for decades, and veteran prosecutor and BNC's legal contributor, Paul Henderson, who's been with us covering this trial from the very start. All right, guys, before deliberations began, the prosecution responded to the defense's closing arguments. In his rebuttal, the assistant U.S. attorney said, quote, Kelly believed the music, the fame, and the credibility meant he could do whatever he wanted. Jim, you've covered R. Kelly and his legal issues for decades, but this moment of reckoning feels different. Why?
Well, I think that the prosecution case with 45 witnesses and hundreds of pieces of evidence, it spans, they said 25 years in their closing argument. But victim number one was 1991, Tiffany Hawkins. So this is a case that is 30 years in the making. And, the tragedy is why it took so long for a court of law to listen to the almost exclusively women of color who were victimized by this.
Paul, why do you think this moment or do you feel this moment is different?
I do think it's different. I think people are very much aware that there were charges earlier, decades ago, that R. Kelly beat, but we are not in the same place. I think it's very clear that R. Kelly used his celebrity inappropriately, and he used it in a way that made him a criminal, that made him a predator. And I feel like the prosecution really laid out a clear narrative that has spanned decades of continuing behavior where people were victimized, where people were treated badly, which was criminal behavior. And that's why we're here. And that's why we have this trial in front of us. I feel like they've done a decent job of presenting a pathway for the jury to find him guilty. And I appreciate that they talked about the history and the time span to put in context how long R. Kelly has been behaving in this way, not as a celebrity, but as a criminal.
All right, so you talked about the prosecution laying out a clear case. Well, Paul, the jury started deliberating at 1:40 p.m. Eastern time today, and then hours later, they sent the judge requests for several exhibits. Any correspondence, Paul, from jurors after they've been given the case can be very telling. What can we glean from their notes to the court?
Well, let me just say that very telling is an understatement. It is the most stressful thing in the world when you get a note back from the jury about evidence that they want to see from the case you just presented, especially in a case like this where you've spent weeks presenting tens and tens of victims and documents. What comes out can sometimes be very telling or not at all, but from the lawyer's perspective, it's a clutch your heart moment because you don't know what they're going to ask. And so in this case, where they were asking, I think one of the questions was for an overview of the layout of the recording studio that they asked for. That could seem pretty innocuous, but it's difficult as one of the lawyers involved in the case not to try and read into it as to what that means. Are they trying to discover and see what people could have seen or known in that layout, what they knew or should have known from what was going on? Were they trying to evaluate the credibility of the victims that were saying that they were in specific rooms when specific criminal acts took place?
Right. I'm going to stop this right here. We're almost like halfway through this video. I'm seeing some things you guys are saying. I want to address some of them and also want to touch on what he's saying here. So let me scroll back up on the comments. All right. You guys are funny. You guys are nervous. I get it. I'm nervous, but it's not nervous like, I don't think he's going to just go free. Like, I don't see this man walking out of here, dusting off his hands and his shoulders like, I'm back. No. Listen, do you not think he proved, do you not think that the government proved the herpes? I'll start with that. And the herpes is within the Mann Act. So it would be a Mann Act charge. Do you think that the underage, I think Pendleton was saying, wasn't underage sex, or what was the question actually? Let me go in order here. Let's see. Hazel said, I believe the intern, I just think her giving him a hug after realizing she may have been R-word was very strange. True. Okay, so like he said, they're asking for the layout of this studio where this intern says she was held captive for 2 days. She ate some food, woke up, and 2 days later, and then gave him a hug or something. Right? Was said in testimony. Well, they had an expert testify also about behavior of trauma victims and R-word victims, or I think that if the jury is smart enough to be asking these questions, that they'll be smart enough to, if they're asking for Jane and I forgot Sonia, they have a lot to cover, because I'm thinking they might be going in order. I don't know. I don't see them maybe skipping around, but they have a lot of things to cover, a lot. Matter of fact, I wanted to pull up the jury charges and instructions because we saw them months ago, like a couple months ago, before some of these amendments and language changing happened. But even then, it was so overwhelming. I didn't even read them. I skimmed through them, but it was a lot. I was like, wow, like we're going to have to revisit this. And how is the jury going to be able to dissect this? But let me see. I'm on Pacer, y'all. Let me give me a second, please. Like I said, I'm gonna read into this stuff and look, do what I do, because I'm so behind on these filings. They were going back and forth, and I have a life that I have to tend to, and I know this case number by heart. That's a damn shame. Case number and all this other information. So let's see. So as of yesterday, because technically for me, it's still the 24th, Friday. So it says that the jury trial, minute entry for proceedings held by Judge Ann. So these are just the notes, the typical notes after the day. Let's see. Everybody who appeared. Okay, summations were heard. Jury was charged. U.S. Deputy Marshal sworn, and that's to sequester the jury, right? Deliberation begun. Jury deliberation continued to 9/27/21 at 9:30 a.m. in courtroom 6G North. All right. Prior to that, proposed jury instructions verdict form. Okay, let me see what this one is. Oh yeah. Okay, this is not the full thing. Okay, so I'm just looking at this letter the defense filed on the 21st. Defense respectfully submits this letter to request that the court add additional language to the jury instructions regarding direct and circumstantial evidence. Specifically, the defense requests that the court add language regarding inferences and that speculation is not allowed. The defense submits that the additional language is necessary based upon certain arguments the government made while Aaliyah and another witness's use of her grandfather's cell phone. The defense objected to the government stating that Mr. Kelly sought to marry Aaliyah because he wanted to cover up the fact that she was pregnant and then wanted to have control over her to force her to have an abortion. No one at this trial testified in a manner to support that conclusion. There were other instances, including a witness's use of her grandfather's cell phone, for which the inference the government suggested was extreme. For those reasons, the defense respectfully requests the court submit additional language concerning direct and circumstantial evidence. So did the judge deny this? I remember hearing she was like, I'm not changing nothing. I mean, I just remember one of the last things that happened was that. Okay, let me see what else. Let me go down to the original jury instructions. Proposed jury instructions. This is back in September. Okay, this is from September 18th. I don't think this is the right one. It's like 100 pages. Oh, no, that was the questionnaire. I'm getting things confused. Hold on. Let me just relax. Yeah, a lot has been going on just within the past couple of days. Okay. That's why I need the queens here, because some of them know this stuff off top. Okay, uncharged acts. Okay, so now I have to find it. I can't find it right now. I can't find it, guys. I'm gonna find it though, because we were supposed to go through that tonight. That's what I had told the queens we were gonna do tonight. You like to play with knives. What are y'all talking about? You got a mean swing. Wait, let me scroll up. Y'all up here fighting? Who y'all fighting? Okay, let me see. Let me see. Oh, I think I missed this one from before. I can see that because she said she woke up feeling wetness between her legs and seeing R. Kelly button up his pants, but she went over to him and gave him a hug. That sounded strange. Now, keep in mind, too, what if he did drug her? Was she, and you know what I realized? The government never brought up drugs. Did drugs ever get brought up? Because I'm going to tell you, they should have been brought up. I feel that girl had been drugged, and if you were drugged and you're just waking up out of a drugged stupor, are you going to be in your right mind? Are you going to, like, who knows what you would do? Because have any of you experienced that? I haven't experienced that, but this thing, you know, you can't call how someone's going to react and be after they experience something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why the government, I mean, drugs is a big part of this thing. That's why that whole brick, remember the whole bricks thing? You sold me your daughter for a brick or something crazy. A brick probably got handed around regardless. They was passing bricks back and forth with blue pills and whatever else they had going on. Yulita said that lady sounded like an idiot on cross-examination. I hate to say it, but she did. Yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy the way she reacted. Yeah. You guys are over here, your stomach's tied in knots, waiting on this. You guys don't watch those supporters over there with those false celebrations, because it'll rattle you. I'm telling you, I haven't seen anything today, but I know yesterday I was like, are they really that confident? Like, am I missing something, or are they just crazy and they're just being what is the word when you basically just don't want to, you want to save face, like you don't want to show your weakness, you don't want to show your fears, you know, like Dry Fox over there, she can't help. She sits there. That's what kills me about her. She prays and she claims she's this faithful woman. She, you know, she does the most with regard to putting all of this on God, as if God is not already at work. And then as soon as she hears something she don't like, or like she couldn't even sit and listen to the prosecution's closing arguments because she says she couldn't take it. She was huffing and puffing and making noises and like a child, very immature. And so for me, that says you're not open to listening to information. How can you listen to information and possibly get a clue to the fact that you're on the wrong side of history if you refuse to listen? That's impossible. That's why I listen to other people. I listen to those supporters because I'm really sometimes saying to myself, can they say one thing that I can at least agree, or at least say, you know, maybe they have something after 2 years? I haven't heard anything yet, but I do listen, you know. But she shows fear a lot. She shows fear. She cries because she's scared. And if her faith was real, like she claims, and that God is just going to fix this for him, what is she scared of? She's lying. She's scared shitless. She doesn't believe. I don't think any of them believe that he's going to walk free. Like they literally, like he's just going to walk out of the courthouse in some dramatic form and fashion, like he's in a movie, slow motion. Imagine he's set free miraculously. He's coming out of the courtroom, slow motion. He's already dressed, suited, and booted from court. So he's dressed and ready to go, right? So he walks out of court, and then all the YouTubers pull up in a Sprinter and pick him up. Is that what happens? Is that what they think is going to happen? Because, I think they all have made friends and made up by coming together for this verdict in this trial. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were all getting together, doing his rituals for him that he wants them to do, putting it on film for him. Because you want to be a part of that enterprise, you gotta pay the price. You can't just do that and not put yourself out there. I'm all off topic. I don't know. I'm just like, let me see where y'all at here. Demoria. I hope I'm pronouncing that. Demoria. Okay. Demoria says she thinks it's going to be a hung jury. So why do you think that? You think that there's a plant in the jury group? I did get an email, which I did forward on to the proper people, authorities and whatnot, that claimed that they knew for a fact that one of the jurors has been compromised. And I do feel that the jury, if they come to that, if they can't agree, the judge is going to make them try to figure it out before they finally say, okay, well, we're going to do this again. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know why you think that, but I definitely don't think that. I don't have that vibe at all. Hung jury. Although it's possible, we're dealing with people. Okay. When you're dealing with people, you have unpredictability, because that's what people give you every time. So, I would say that for us over here who are waiting on this guilty verdict and waiting on these decades of time to be handed down to him, at the same time, we're basing this on the evidence, right? The testimony, the facts, the things that we've been hearing in his patterns, and the things that we know, the videotapes, all that stuff. But aside from that, the way the system is set up, that's not the way a person is charged. Is convicted by people, by public opinion, or we have to let the jury make the decision. And the jury and that's why those instructions, those charges are very important, because that's going to have us look at what they're looking at, and then we can maybe have a little bit of better understanding of where their mindsets may be at. You're a man, and I was close to pronouncing your name. Okay, so you're a man. Let me see. If you're a man, so I said Demoria. Demariah. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna call you Demi. And welcome to the channel. I hope he is found innocent, but if not, it is what it is. Okay. All right, Leisha Tate. You know what? That's an acceptable. See, I don't mind. See, that's okay, because some people want him innocent. That's how they feel. And we can't be mad about people. I do question, how do you want someone innocent with all of these things that they're saying that he's done? Even to be accused of this stuff makes me look at somebody like, okay, you got issues. Because if these things are going on for decades and the people don't know each other, but they have the same stories, and this stuff has been going on up to the time where he was arrested in 2019. The stuff they found on his phone was disgusting. If disgusting was a crime, we would have no doubts or fears about his being convicted. Leisha said, I'm going to wait for the outcome I refuse to fuss with anybody in their belief. And that's a good way to point that out also. Pointing out the fact that, the people believe what they believe. So to argue back and forth, and I get it too. Sometimes it's just for sport. A lot of people are on YouTube. They want the numbers up. A lot of people love the drama for their channel. There's certain people, me and the queens, call the drama channels, because that's all they seem to be able to do. But yeah, I appreciate that, Leisha. Thank you for sharing that, and, and Pendleton said, trolling. Hi, Michelle. Yes, Michelle Hurd made a live. I love your comments in the videos, though. Keep those coming because they're very uplifting. Michelle Hurd from Ohio, right? Sharita said the jury saw the tape, so they can't ignore that. Right, exactly. Michelle said guilty, guilty, guilty. There's not guilty. Hazel said, well, Leisha is here. We don't feel the same sentiments as you do. We want justice to be served, and for us, that means a guilty verdict. Right. Yeah. But, like she said, she's not going to sit up here and argue with us, and she might be trolling. She came in here. She wanted us to know, how she felt. Now, I'm not, I'm cool with that. They can just feel he has a hot temper. I don't think he was shown beating anyone. But I think that weren't there slaps and smacks that you could hear after he was making those threats? Even though it wasn't on camera, I don't know. I feel like that's effective. Those tapes, that video and that audio was effective. Because I read the one long thing he said that they heard in my, and I was scared myself. Evolve Joseph. It's all good. We've been on here 40 minutes. I'm not here long. I'm just, because I have to look. So, okay, let me make a note. Because this is what we're going to do. All right. Even though I'm out here, I'm traveling, but I have some time tomorrow afternoon. So I'm a look at the jury instructions / charges. Okay. And then we're going to talk about what the jury instructions are specifically and the charges, what specifically. And I had asked Love Warrior today to look into for me what how these amendments, if any language changes, affected the original jury charges. Like, where did they land? So Miss Della's prayers up to Miss Della. Yeah, slaps were heard. Yeah, prayers up to Miss Della. Our thoughts are with her. She's a little down. I don't know if she would like me even saying this, so I'm not gonna say too much, but basically just send her some love, y'all. Okay, we have another fan. It's a Chosen Nation. As an R. Kelly fan, I'm praying he gets the help he needs. As far as his music goes, I think he's a musical genius. But if they actually have 100% proof he did these things, he should be guilty. He should be, yeah. I thank you for that. And that's understandable. Some people just feel the way they feel, Slapping his, no, he wasn't slapping his own leg. He was slapping whoever he was fussing at in the thing. I think it was Jane, wasn't it? I've always been curious on why his fans believe he is innocent when there's so much evidence against him. I'm just trying to see it from their point of view because I don't get it. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And that's why, so the YouTubers are not a good representation of that fan. Because in my opinion, they're the biggest groupies out there. They are the biggest R. Kelly groupies. And I say groupies. There's a difference between a fan, a groupie, a supporter. There's different levels. Pee Hive, that is the ultimate pee on me, pee in my mouth, do whatever you want. Take my daughter, take my niece. Here's my nephew. He's a baby, but here, I love you. Do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just complete and utter. I'm looking for the word slave, like a slave to a slave master, mentality. They didn't see they didn't see the sex tapes are the Illinois. So, okay. The Illinois the federal and state Illinois cases, both, I believe, do deal with the sex tapes. And Rashana Landfair is the star witness who was, I said that girl's whole name. I usually don't do that. Anyway, the girl in the original child pornography tape, she testified, as did her parents, that they lied then, that it was her. Now, her father has since passed away since the trial, also another passing. But they already had his testimony, and I don't believe that will affect the case in a negative way with regard to finding him guilty. Let's see. Yes, prayers to Miss Della. Yeah, I appreciate the Chosen Nation, and I'm sorry, I forgot already the other person, but Alicia, for coming in here to, let us know they're not scared to let us know they're fans of his, and they hate to see this. They don't like to see this. We don't like to see it either. We don't. It's like, people go, oh, you guys just hate this man. It's not. Well, yeah, we might hate him now because look, the guy is arrogant. Do I need to play the 30 years video? I mean, do we need to remember who we're dealing with here? The ego, the arrogance. I've been doing this 30, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow. Sharita said, I tried to understand. I can't. I used to do Kelly videos, but the P-Hop got on my nerves. Yeah. They're, I just find them funny. You just messing with me. Yulita, don't mess with me. I don't have the stamina right now. I'm literally on fumes. Yeah, I don't hate him either. Hazel said, I don't hate Kelly. I just loathe his abusive actions toward children. I believe he needs to face consequences. Absolutely. Evolved Joseph, I definitely don't like to see this. Yeah, we don't like to see this. We don't like to see this. He, how people say, they just want to, they're just, he's a successful black man. They just want to take the black man down. In my opinion, he doesn't represent the black man at all at this point. He doesn't represent him. So I wish people would stop saying that. He doesn't even represent a man, in my opinion. He does not represent a real man. He represents, I think, a demon possession. I really do think he's been possessed by demons, not just one demon. Well, one ultimate demon and then some minion demons. Yeah, mental health issues go with that. Drug, alcohol issues, all of that. And that's why, again, I'm surprised the drugs haven't come into play or didn't come into play when it came to the case. Maybe it was something they just really couldn't prove. Absolutely not a man, not a representation of black men for sure. Demariah. Okay, let me put this up. I don't see no RICO Act, but I do feel that he was out of pocket for still messing with them girls, and they told him that they're real age. Okay, well, you're halfway there. Okay, well, you understand the RICO Act is, I like to call it, I know it's from more so, what is that mafia guy's name? The one that they say, I can't think of it, but I call it the Godfather Act. I like to call it the Godfather Act. Somebody else did use the Godfather as an example. But yeah, the Godfather's at home smoking his cigar, counting his money, you know what I'm saying, playing with his grandchildren. And he has a whole enterprise underneath him doing all kinds of shit. And he's not necessarily, he at all actually is not picking up the phone or even saying anything directly to anyone because he has other people doing that for him. They just know what it is. And he is the boss. And all of that is under his direction, even though he's not literally saying it, you know what I mean? But he is the boss. He's the head. And that's R. Kelly. That's the RICO. All those people doing his bidding, doing those things, watching those girls, making sure they didn't, that they had to call him if they wanted to eat or use the bathroom. They're playing mediator and being the middle person. They put themselves in it. And what about the police officer that testified, or ex-police officer? He was sitting in the next room when he was in there having sex with Aaliyah and her friends, all young girls. He's sitting in the next room. A police officer, Chicago police officer. And that police officer is still, to me, questionable because he's working for R. Kelly. He leaves, becomes a police officer, then he comes back as a police officer and works for R. Kelly and brings his other police officer friends to work for him also. Sounds to me like R. Kelly said, "We gonna get you on the force." He has people under his belt. Let's not forget Daryl McDavid, who is his co-defendant in the Chicago case, is who introduced him to a lot of people. The doctor being one of them, his longtime primary doctor, who basically let us know and proved that the man has herpes and had given herpes. He examined Geronda when she was a girl at his place and she had herpes. Come on. So the doctor, turns out his wife, brother, is an alderman under the mayor of Chicago and has been for 30 some years. Powerful people. These people are, R. Kelly is connected, of course, right? And he's using those connections. That's that mob boss shit. That's RICO. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they proved RICO. I think that's why I'm confused as to why you don't see the RICO, because it's very clear to me. Thanks for reminding us YouTube is not a good representation. Yes, you're welcome. I'm just letting you know. These are, I like to say, a handful of nut jobs, okay? Because when you look at the whole world as a whole, the whole world, and say we look at the whole world, right, as a whole. Say, pretend you're a hovercraft or a drone, and you're above everything, and the whole world is below you. And I want you to see the sea, like of people split. So the people who support him and believe him, like the YouTubers do, I want you to see them. And then I want you to see the people who believe he's guilty. And if they don't believe he's guilty 100%, they do believe something is up. They do believe he could possibly, have done some things. What you're going to see is you're going to see the whole world on one side and a handful of nut jobs on the other side. I'm telling you right now. I'm serious. Oh, Gotti. Yeah. Corleone. Michael Corleone. PJ Corleone. Oh. Yeah, Gotti. I think that's who I was thinking of. Thank you for that. Y'all, some smart people only over here. Am I wrong for wanting those who hurt children castrated? No, you're not wrong. Cut that shit off all the way. Down to the nug. Down to the whatever. To the belly button. Whatever. All of it. Evolve, Joseph. Being from the Shy, Robert Kelly represented a golden brightness for my city. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, he was Chicago, right? I mean, back when I did listen to him, on the radio, I don't think I was ever someone who really just bought his music or looked for his music. But when he had the radio hits, I bopped to it, and it was cool. And he was Chicago. I knew him being from Chicago. I knew him. He and Chicago to me were, together. And it's unfortunate because he could have done so much good for the city, for not even just the city. Listen, his music. Okay, let me go back. His music. Yes, he did some good things. There's some beautiful music that he has that doesn't even reflect the dirt he was doing. However, he tainted that with this. He did. Now, the music could have been healing for the whole world. But now it can't, because the whole world is split, is not united about him or his music. So it can't do that now either. And so if he, would have just walked that straight line And even after 2008, say he did, we know he did that shit. But say he came out and he said, oh shit, that was close. I'm gonna go ahead and find me a mature woman, settle down, cut that shit out. And he did. He got the help he needed. Maybe he sought therapy and took the drugs that the first lawyer said he had to give him, the libido drug. Or did he offer it? I don't know if he offered it or if he actually got it for him. But there was a libido drug. His first lawyer, Jensen, said that he needed. And Jensen said he's guilty as hell. Don't forget that. Before he died, he wanted to make sure he got that on record. He said he was guilty as hell. And he defended him, though, and got him off. And I think a lot of those people were paid. So, and that's what they're saying. I heard one of the people, Dry Fox, I think, say that if he does get convicted, it's because that somebody on the jury was paid, or that the people were paid, which is stupid. You ain't got to pay somebody to put a man behind bars who did the things he did to children, women, and men and boys. Don't forget about the boys. I mean, I realize that, some don't look at that the same because they were older, 17. I think they said they were 17, which was underage. Well, maybe not in Chicago. I think that is the legal age. But the coercion that took place, the dream stealing, like these people had talent, or they thought they did. And they wanted a career in the industry, which the industry is, known for dangling that gold, that false gold, and trapping people. But he's a big figurehead. Sorry about that, y'all. I was like, why is my screen black? Anyway, I don't know what y'all heard. I was going off about some shit, but I'm back. I'm back. Let's finish listening to this video. Well, let me see what else y'all saying. He completely towed on with that damn iPad and those VHS and lyrics. Yeah, he did tell himself. He videotaped everything he did. He wants to be seen. I think he wanted to be caught, to be very honest with you. I think his real self, who's buried deep down in there, wants to stop. Like I said, I think he had a demonic takeover. I think his self, he's in there trying to get out. That movie Get Out, maybe he's in there trying to get out. So he's making sure that everything gets on tape, and he's making sure these huge mistakes are happening where he's just doing shit, not even thinking twice. How are you keeping somebody for 2 days against their will, or not even, it's not a mutual thing. You're kidnapping people. This girl had a child. I'm like, weren't people looking for her? I don't know, y'all. This whole thing, I want to just give y'all some. He's in the sunken plane. All we got to do is get a teacup and start stirring that motherfucker, stirring the spoon in that bitch so he can maybe snap out of it. Man's law and judgment can fail. God's won't, though. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Did not know how to ask for help. We don't know how the jury feel. I'm just saying. I think he purposely chose girls that people wouldn't look for. Yeah, a whole storage unit full of evidence that you told on yourself about, and you show people this. Like, I could see if he did that for his own, like, sick, he maybe go disappear from everybody else and go to his storage unit and sitting there and just stew in it all, when he wanted to get away or whatever. But you guys see me? You still saying come back, or you guys do see me, right? Or hear me, I'm sorry, because that ain't me on the screen. Let me know if you can hear me, because it says that I'm back, but I'm seeing y'all still telling me to come back. You got blocked. I didn't block you. He told Demetrius Smith that taping everything was going to get him, and he can't. Stop. He can't. Oh, okay. Pendleton, leave me alone. You know what? I should have known you were messing with me. All right. Is this birthday cake? Are we celebrating? Is that what this is? Or is this tea? I can't tell. Yeah, sorry, y'all. I don't know what happened with this internet. I'm in an Airbnb, y'all, and it's actually really nice. It's a really nice house. But some of us don't have to put everything on camera. I'm gonna have to walk y'all through the house like, yo, look what I'm doing. Look what I got going on. In the end of the day, only God can judge, or whether Kelly, you like him or not, innocent or guilty. Well, people can judge. People do judge. God gave us that ability. We're thinking human beings, smart people only over here. And thinking human beings make judgments. That's what people do. So only God, I know Tupac said that. Only God could judge him, but everybody else is judging him too. That's right. How, Pendleton? Man's law can judge. It's how we hold accountability. And that's what the law is. And that's why they call it a judgment. Well, a judgment is also when you owe money, right? And you have to pay the money. But, it's a term. It's a term. He first met Jerron at the 2008 trial. That part always blew my mind. And that should stick out also with the juror. She was the first witness. So, and she hit hard, I think. And they should definitely take that into consideration. Like, he should have no business even a man at his magnitude of stardom at that time is talking to her and dealing with her, a fangirl, skipping school. And next thing you know, y'all intimate friends. Next thing we know, you owe her $1.5 or $6 million out of a settlement because you messing with this girl. Then she writes a book, 2 books actually, and tells all this disgusting things she's doing with you and Bubba. Like, nope. This stuff, I don't know how y'all support this. And what do you think's going to happen if they let his ass go? Let him go? I know what's going to happen. He's going straight to McDonald's first. He cannot, and I was unable to stop. He had so many chances. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I know what you meant. I got blocked on that reporter of the P. Oh, I know who you're talking. You didn't even have to say it. I knew when you said reporter in quotes, I knew exactly who you were speaking about for stating common sense. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen when you do that. Yeah, that quote unquote reporter is an embarrassment. I'm sorry. Honestly, you're at court. Hey. Like all this, like, I'm loud. Yeah. I mean, come on now. Are we adults? Like, I'm just like trying to figure out, these are like teenagers. Maybe these people are also stunted because, that's what happens with trauma, it stunts your growth. Well, the age, usually whatever trauma happens is usually the age you get stuck at. I see a lot of these people are stuck at very young ages. Yeah, that reporter though, I saw that, I think it was yesterday when she was working with that other contractor who tries to act like he's somebody. And trying to be all professional, but child, and then had the nerve, and then treated the NBC guy like shit because he wanted to come have a word, I guess. And she's running away from the guy. I'm a reporter too. I got credentials just like you. No, you're not a reporter. Reporters do have literal credentials, educational credentials. You have to have some sort of degrees for that. You know, they do require things from you to call yourself a damn reporter, a journalist, we'll say, a journalist. You are a blogger. Bloggers blog opinions, right? And reporters aren't biased. Reporters are supposed to be neutral. So if you're a reporter, then you shouldn't be, hey, he coming high. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, oh my God, you guys. Well, at least we all on the same page with a lot of this stuff. Because I'm telling you, sometimes I'm sitting around like, is it just me? Am I crazy? Oh boy. And people that in my life, like my family and my close friends, they're like, he's still going through that. He didn't get convicted yet. They just think he's gone for good. They think he's done for good. I'm like, no, he's in trial. So they're just like, wow, they don't get invested like this though. She got to have a background in broadcast journalism. Yeah, you have a background. I took some classes in college. I mean, it could have been a minor, as many classes as I did take, and I actually did. You know, what's funny is I was taking this broadcasting course. Ooh, and the teacher, I felt like he was racist. I did. He not even just racist. I say ageist, because I went back to school and got my degree. I mean, I was in my late 20s, but you know, everybody else was like coming out of high school. So he, I could tell, you know, he was treating me different. You know, I could just tell. So, but he taught all the timestamp stuff and the editing and this. I learned a lot of that stuff in that math class, and I couldn't stand that class. But I look back and go, wow, I did learn a lot, and I'm glad I took it. Oh, and you texted me too. Wait, I'm here. And that was just 2 minutes ago. Pendleton, are you messing with me? Wait, hold on. Let me text you back. Because now you trolling me. The truth is that he's guilty for everything he did. He knew it was wrong, point blank. And period, I'll add. Point blank and on period. You're right. And let's finish this video because he's sitting here. He wants to finish what he has to say.
There's no way to gauge that. I will say, though, it's not surprising to me that they have questions about some specifics of the testimony, given the volume of the testimony in a case like this, and given the timing, because it's difficult, I think, for a lay audience to digest all of the voir dire and all of the jury instructions that are given to them at the conclusion of a case that seems separate from the narratives and the arguments from the lawyers.
Jim, throughout the trial, we saw the prosecution talk about how those in Kelly's inner circle helped Kelly run this criminal enterprise. You wrote a piece for the New Yorker this week titled, "Why is R. Kelly standing trial alone?" So why is he?
Well, this is the heart of the matter, and Paul, of course, is the expert. RICO, the racketeering laws, are really misunderstood in popular culture. I'm a guy from Jersey, I was thinking, if you indicted The Godfather, where's Tessio and Clemenza? But RICO in itself, being named part of a criminal enterprise, is not in itself a crime, but it allowed, in a canny, perhaps, strategy, if it backfires, it will have been a huge mistake. It allowed the prosecution to bring in crimes on which the statute of limitations had lapsed, crimes spanning 30 years, to throw out the names of these many enablers and assistants. There were literally dozens mentioned in testimony. There were a couple of key assistants who are indicted in the second federal case that Kelly faces in the Northern District of Illinois. It's entirely possible if they win a conviction, we'll see a slew of indictments of some of these other people. If there's an acquittal, it may all go away. But Kelly still faces a second federal case, just like Harvey Weinstein faced two, one in New York, one in LA, and he faces a state case in Illinois and a state case in Minnesota.
So he isn't going anywhere. All right, Paul, let's talk about specifics with these charges. 8 counts of violating the Mann Act, which prohibits sex trafficking across state lines, and 1 count of racketeering with 14 underlying acts and 6 Jane Does. Which counts look the strongest to you, and which are the weakest? Now, the jury wanted Sonia's testimony read back, so could that mean they could be undecided on the counts related to her?
I don't think so. They may be trying to drill down and focus on her testimony and be arguing amongst themselves as to what they thought was relevant. I think that testimony was more relevant rather than less, which is why they raised the question in the first place. To me, as a prosecutor, though, of course, that is an indication that those are the charges that they're starting with that stood out to them, and that's not surprising. The narratives about young women and young men of color that were victimized allegedly by R. Kelly, and those narratives were some of the most powerful in this case. And so the fact that some of the first questions that they had were about that narrative is an indication to me that they found those testimonies to be more credible rather than not. And that would tend to lead us to surmise that they are likely to be moving towards the racketeering charges and the action that took place on more than one occasion with some of those victims. But again, that's me reading the tea leaves about that question, and that's my lens of how I think the testimony went in, and what I think the jury was paying attention to.
Jim, last question to you. Despite weeks of graphic and horrific
I paused it. Oh, it's echoing. Okay, I paused it because it looked like it had went out. I just didn't want. Okay, let me turn it down some because that's usually why it echoes. And she's asking about the people who are supporting him outside the courthouse. You saw Jim roll his eyes. Let's see what he says.
verdict to mean for Kelly, the music industry, and for women, specifically Black women.
Oh, well, we could talk for 2 hours about that. Listen, I'm a music journalist. I'm a music lover. I understand the power of I Believe I Can Fly playing at your kid's kindergarten graduation. A Step in the Name of Love being a wedding song. And Ignition Remix powering every backyard barbecue and family gathering you ever had. In many ways in the Black community, that music is yours as much as it is his. But to dismiss the women who,
thank you, Hazel.
And yeah, Paul was right. There's 2 men. They're not charged specifically linked to charges against Kelly, but to dismiss the women who are your daughters, your cousins, your aunties, your sisters. I don't know.
Yes.
From December 2000, the first story when I sat with a young woman who showed me the scars on her wrist where she tried to kill herself after sexual contact with Kelly that began when she was 15. I've never been able to stop bringing it back home to those victims. And I don't know how, no matter how much they love the music and no matter how many valid criticisms they have with the white justice system, I have a lot. I don't know how you can support this man with so much evidence.
I just said that too. I just said that. Who tried to slit their wrist?
Music critic Jim Derogatis, thank you so very much for joining us tonight.
Okay, wait. I'm hold on, let me see something.
Scars on her wrist where she tried to kill herself after sexual contact with Kelly. The first story, when I sat with a young woman who showed me the scars on her wrists where she tried to kill herself after sexual contact with Kelly that began.
Okay, Yulita, I see what you mean about the man's teeth. We love Jim, but Jim, you got to get to the dentist, baby boy. All right. So who is this woman that he spoke to who has scars on her wrist from trying to commit suicide after being assaulted by R. Kelly or raped? Did she testify? Is this somebody that the prosecution is, I'm sure they're aware, but did she, what happened? This is the first, I don't remember hearing this. This might've been in the book, but it's all a blur to me sometimes. So much of this stuff.
She was 15. I've never been able to stop bringing it back home to those victims. And I don't know how, no matter how much they love the music and no matter how many valid criticisms they have with the white justice system, I have a lot. I don't know how you can support this man with so much evidence against him.
Okay. So, wow. Yeah, it was in the solo. I figured it was. So much stuff was in that book. I'm gonna have to read that book again at some point. I don't know if I can, honestly, because it's just reliving this stuff over again. Poor Jim. He really tried to, he's like, I put in so much of my time. At least let me get some money off of this. Let me do this book and put it all in one book. So everything is in one place. Maybe I'll even make a penny. And I think that's all he ended up making. Nobody wants to read about it because it's too much. Like, we don't want to talk about it or read about it. We just want to see him get convicted. That's where I'm at. Okay. No, she didn't testify. It was Tiffany Hawkins. Oh, I didn't know that. And she didn't, did she? Didn't Tiffany do the surviving series or the second part? But she didn't testify. And Tiffany got a settlement, right? Man. Miss Davis, let me explain it like this. It is all complete alternative universe. They can't see what we can see. At the octopus, I love the octopus emoji. Y'all just adopted that thing. Kim Lee, welcome. Checking out okay. I didn't do too long of an intro. Some people say, I'm like, your intro. My intro is literally 8 seconds. I'm going to just keep saying that. I just like to greet everybody and, vibe out a little bit. We didn't do all that tonight. I mean, let's see. Why didn't she come to testify then? R. Cassiel 30. Oh, y'all out here. Pendleton, do I need to make you a mod? Let me know if you can handle that responsibility. And I will certainly give you a wrench. Yeah, she said it. Okay, I thought so. She got 250,000 back in 97. Yeah. Little change. That was his going rate though, 250, right? Somebody said they thought they were getting like 50K and they got 250. They're like, I'm damn surprised I got $250,000. I'm not listening to nobody. No, I'm kidding. I listen to y'all. Tiffany was the first. Yeah, that's what I thought. She was the first one to get a settlement. Evolved. One thing to come out of this trial from the defense side is Deborah Canick has become a mythical hero to the P-Hive. He has, hasn't he? You don't look too happy about it, but I didn't see today because I did see the thumbnail. I think she said she interviewed him today. I know I've seen him blow her off every other day prior to this, and I've seen Tricky Nikki turn her head away from her, and I've seen her really get punked out there in them Brooklyn streets. But let her tell it. She's such a G. Can't I guess she don't recognize it. I thought real recognized real, girl. I wanted to address, where is the comment? Demoria or Demoria? What did I say I was calling? Demo. That's what we call you. Demo. There you go. I'm not a troll, just giving my opinion on how y'all feel. We could agree, disagree. Yeah. But you had said something. Let me find it. Okay. Where is that comment? Do y'all think R. Kelly is that much of a monster to give him life in prison? Yes. Hell yeah. He's 54 years old. I mean, life in prison is not really that much time, to be honest. He's not even that healthy. And his mental health is not strong either. And he's prone to suicide attempts. His mom even said he tried to kill himself when he was like 13. He said somebody tried to steal his bike and tried to shoot him. She said he shot himself in the shoulder. I mean, he ended up shooting himself in the shoulder or something crazy. Oh, Zamir. He's up. What's he doing up this late or early in the morning? Well, go handle your baby. Okay, let me find that comment because I wanted to address that real quick. It was right before oh, here we go. About the media. The main media only tell the prosecution side. They don't say nothing about defense. Okay, you realize, okay, the reason they were very heavy on prosecution because it's the prosecution's case to prove. So the prosecution is the one presenting pretty much the whole 6 weeks was the prosecution presenting their case. So even though the defense was cross-examining witnesses, it was the prosecution's case to prove, and they had all of the evidence and all of the testimonies and all of the things that the reporters had to report on. So it was heavy on them because it was more on their, I guess, side. It's because it's their case. They are reporting what they're saying and doing. And if you feel like they're biased, I would just say you're biased. And that's why you can't see it. You can't see that they're reporting. Yeah, and they also see, I think what we see is that he's kind of guilty. I think they just feel like let's get this thing over with. Because they can't even go in the courtroom. They can't hear they can't see faces. They don't want to report on this case. I'm telling you right now, they're mad at the judge because they wouldn't even, they even filed a letter to the judge in the court to ask her for more accessibility to the courtroom and the evidence. So, and exactly, JC, let's not forget these victims are not on trial. The victims aren't on trial. They're not on trial. He's the only one on trial. So, yeah, that's true. Oh, he heard my voice. Oh, Zamir. I didn't get, that was the other thing, Michelle. I didn't see any number. Did you email it to me? My email address is if you want to send me something, just email it to me. I have an email in the description of this video, and then I think in the about section of the channel. You guys are smart, though. You guys bring up really good points. What are you doing in here? Get out of here. That's the kid, y'all, messing around. All right, so yes, it's time for him to sit down permanently because he's not going to stop. Yeah, he's not going to stop. He has shown us, the whole world, that he can't control himself. He can't control his urges to abuse children, abuse young women and boys, girls and boys. He can't help himself to be cruel and abusive. I mean, he's a bad man. He's just a bad guy. He's a bad guy. Okay? We have good guys, we have bad guys, like in a movie. Let's look at it like in a movie, a cowboy movie. Good guy, bad guy. He's the bad guy. Okay? Okay. And we've seen all his stuff. We saw everything in the movie. We saw it all. And now he's going to prison. Yep, Aisha, you are correct. The jury decides the verdict and the judge decides the time. I like how you put that pretty point blank period because we haven't really discussed the sentencing. The judge. Now, Judge Ann, she's been waiting. I think she's been chomping at the bits waiting on the sentencing this guy. Because, we're going to look at this too. The backgrounds of everybody. Nicole, Tricky Nikki, Getty's, judge and the judge. She was a prosecutor. She worked on these cases as a prosecutor. She's a defender and an advocate of children and women in these types of situations. So, oh, okay. Let me get this. I'm gonna email you, Michelle. You just email me back, okay? 94. I'll email you after the live at Gmail. Okay. It's about power, JC said. And even if he was castrated, he would hurt girls and boys. Yeah, you're right. Because you got to take his fingers, you got to take his tongue. You know, you can't just take the penis. You got to take it all. Yeah, it is unfortunately. Can we send him to the Middle East? Well, they probably they might champion that over there. They might actually kill the victims over there. So never mind on that, because I know y'all see what the Taliban is over there doing. These women are going back hundreds of years after they had a little bit of progress this past decade. Yulita said, "I believe that demons walk the earth, but so do angels." Yep, that's so true. Demons, yeah, but I agree with that too. And demons, like I said, they do possess. When your vibe, your spirit, you know, listen, your soul will leave you. Your soul will leave your ass if you are like R. Kelly, for instance. If you're doing things, if your soul ain't, because everybody's soul is not dark, but when you are not using judgment, when you're doing things that lowers your vibration, where what that does is it leaves a hole in you. It leaves space for something else to come in and take over. So Sharita says some settlements are still, there are at least 10 that are public. Yeah, more than 10 that we're aware of. Okay, so no, we will judge. I think, didn't we talk about this? We're humans and we're given the ability to judge. God gave us this mind, you know. We're the most brilliant species out here, or we think we are. We think we are. But we are thinking people, and we do judge. We do. We have laws and we judge, and we have morals and other things that we try to, you know, people want to uphold. Typically, people want to uphold themselves to certain things. Integrity, morals. I mean, if you're a good person, if you're not a good person, you don't give a fuck about any of that. And you just going to do what the fuck you want to do. But guess what? When you do that and you don't give a fuck, you will pay the price. That's it. Every action has a reaction. If you want to just put it simply, you do something, then it's going to get done back to you, or you're going to get, you know. It don't say what in the Bible. Are we really going to talk about the Bible and try to dissect the Bible and talking about R. Kelly right now? I don't think so. What does the Bible say? That because I'm honestly, I don't go by just the Bible. I don't live just by the Bible. The Bible, I'm not going to get into the Bible talk. The Bible is a great tool and resource. But, you know, people who hang on the Bible for their justifications and their reasonings for everything, and then they aren't specific about it either. Yeah, even the Bible had man's law. Come on now. Molinique, extensions and beauty. Oh, if that's supposed to be extensions, Molinique, you want to add an N, EXTENSIONS. Okay, because you know, if this is a business, it sounds like you might do hair or something, or lashes. I don't know, but you want to get that right, because they don't know you do extensions. They think you do extensions, and I don't know what extensions are. But she says, "Thou shalt not judge." This is literally a court case with a whole judge. I'm sorry. I thought you were coming in here to troll, so I kind of picked on your name, but you do want to fix that. But yeah, you're right. It is a whole judge, and the judge is a human being. The judge is a human being who's judging. Y'all are crazy. Jim just did article for the New Yorker. Okay, I think they flashed that on the news on the screen when they were doing the news reel. I'm gonna have to check that out. Let me write that down. Jim D. New Yorker. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this. I've been here an hour and a half. I didn't plan to be here this long. I need to get some sleep. It's midnight here now. I appreciate y'all coming in. I don't have my queens, so it was just me. I appreciate y'all though, and I will be back. Like I said, we're gonna get into the jury instructions and charges and all that. And I think other channels might have been doing this. I don't care because we do things how we do things over here, right? I appreciate y'all though. This was a good dialogue, and like I said, stay positive. Don't worry. Just remember all the key things that we know took place during this trial. Don't listen to the other people. If you can't deal with listening to them and if it affects you in a negative way, it makes you fear the worst with regards to this case, don't listen to them because they over there blowing smoke up each other's asses. And they're trying to just trying to act confident and save face because they're getting a lot of these people, including mine, I'll say, views have gone up because since the trial. And some of these people are getting money, cash apps and whatnot because of that. And the supporters are the ones paying them and supporting them. And if they don't hear what they want to hear, they're not going to be supporting these people. So they have to pander to them in order to get the benefits, right? So you have to remember that too. And you are not who they are pandering to. So they don't care what you think. They're not trying to hear about you. But we'll go out let's go out with a little bit of a bang. Let me see. Is my internet on this phone? Yeah, it is. Here we go. Why is this not playing? Okay, now the thing is not playing, so. Okay, well, I guess we won't be doing that either because this is not, it's not saying it's not online, but it is. All right, y'all, listen. Much love. All right, Demo. One love from Oakland, California. All right, Oakland. We all God's children. God bless. Nobody's perfect. All right. We can agree on that. And I appreciate you coming over here and actually taking the time to let us know what you are thinking and feeling. Much love to you, sis. You know you got love over here. Michelle Hurd, yes. Thank you, Rita. Thank you for all the love. Good night, Miss Davis. JC, if you're still here. Hazel E. Who else is up in here this late? Kim Lee. Aisha O. Oh, here we go. Just took a minute. Hey, we are the dopest, y'all. Don't forget who you are.
We the dopest.
That's right.
Get up. We the
Don't forget who you are.
Get up. We the
You're a winner.
dopest. Get up. We the dopest. Get up. We the dopest.
Let's see those hearts for Joy and all the other survivors. Free Joy. Free Joy.
Bitches, we got them. Niggas, we riding. Blowing shit up. Osama bin Laden. Making big plans, big things, we plotting. Taking over the game, weak niggas, we stopping. Now I can make a name full of fame, roll around in paper. The other things that makes the fame, all the
So look for me tomorrow, y'all.
See me throw the deuces then I see them later.
We're gonna talk about this jury instructions. How much instructions are there? There's a lot. It's a lot of instructions. They pretty much have a roadmap to convict this motherfucker. So don't get nervous. They have everything they need. They just want clarity. They want clarity. That's all. That's all they want. Good night, Lucky Penny. Thank you for joining. My verse is coming up. I have enough energy for this. We the dopest. We are the dopest, man. We are the best. We the dopest. I saw
we the dopest.
Shaw #1 this year.
We the dopest.
One's for the money, two's for the show, three's for the dope. So you know we about to blow. And if you don't, it's cause you niggas ain't listening. First place, so don't ever ask what my position is. Queen of my city, got a key to my city. That I'll be anybody I meet or see in my city. Like I'm saying all the time, this is my city, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. Much love. Till next time. Peace.